what do you see it as? Should freelance entrepreneurs be trying to build these assets using OpenAI, not going crazy and building their own servers, but using OpenAI to create their own market avatars and become cutting edge in their little small sliver of their markets? What do you see the more individual freelance remote worker flying to Thailand type character? What should they be doing?
They should be working toward it. They don't need to, they don't need to become developers, right? And then they won't need to become machine learning specialists or large language model specialists, but they should be aware of it, experienced with it enough, because there are tools that are coming out that'll help you do this without any development knowledge, right? And there are plenty of tools now, and there are more coming where you can upload data and the back end of this provider will help train it for you or with you. And so you just have to know how to direct it. Right. So you need to understand enough so you can direct the training and the fine tuning, but then the back end will take care of it. So if you're a freelancer entrepreneur and either the digital nomad or you're settled down, but you're not a huge company, you don't need to become a developer, but you should be aware enough that this is an opportunity to build assets that if you don't want to use them yourself, then you can certainly sell them for a lot of money to other companies. Like if I have, and I wish I could like point to it as in a box and tell you what it is, but I have many avatar GPTs that are fine-tuned for particular markets. I already have it, and I had people bidding on it to buy them from me.
Oh my God.
But I'm not but get this, I'm not a developer. Like I'm not a Python developer and I'm not a machine learning specialist. I just figured out like, here's a good way to fine tune it. And so here's what I'm trying to say, if I can do it and I'm not a developer, I'm awful at math. Like I'm not at all a tech person in that classical sense.
Yeah.
But the only thing I have going for me is that I keep practicing my imagination and perception and perspective and intuition and all that stuff, because I can see that like it's the thing that's going to matter. Like I know how I want my avatar GPT to talk to me. I might not know the exact steps to get there, but I know what it should look like. I have a sense of what it should be telling me. And if you know that, then the tech part is only getting easier. And so it's fairly simple to have the tech thing happen for you if you have the vision for what you're trying to make.
This is very fascinating because, there was that meme going around years ago, not too many years ago, but years ago, where they were saying, oh, you're upset about your wage, or, you're not getting paid enough because you're chopping wood or something like that. Learn to code.
Yeah.
Learn to code. and that like seemed very real. I remember I studied Python for a while because I was like, oh my God, I should
yeah,
I don't want to be behind. But it's getting to this point now where it seems like, and you've pointed this out, like it's so interesting because it is very novel. Like I don't hear many people say this the way you say this, but you're always saying that the most human attributes that we have, like our creativity, our capacity to organize our perception, very Nietzschean, our ability to be able to control perspective, our ability to look at things from different angles, our creative imagination, creative thought, our problem solving, our high level ability to ask interesting questions. All these things that we define as, the higher intellectual capacities of man, these are becoming the most relevant. And now these machines are essentially, they're learning to code themselves. Like people are starting to say that we're going towards the no code internet, where you won't even need to program as much as you used to anymore. And it will be obviously a great skill to have, but
you need to know how to describe what you want. Like this is why large language models are built on the idea that you can talk to it and then it'll do things. You can talk to ChatGPT now and describe code that you want and it'll code it. That capability is only going to escalate. And so, but you need to be good at formulating your thoughts into clear language and description and instruction that then a large language model can act on. So you need to practice your ability to formulate thoughts, your communication skills, your imagination, your ability to formulate new thoughts and take in information and then set a direction with your sense of taste and with your perspective. Like, so it's irony. It's a plot twist of the past 1,000 years, where now we're at the point where the peak of machines it means peak humanity, because we're going to become more human in how we act and behave and think, so that we can get the most out of the machine.
And there's so many interesting things that come from that. Like, first of all, is the whole principle of coding is actually the coding languages that we must learn are languages that the machines can understand. So the only reason you use Python and various coding languages like that is because that's what the computer can actually understand. Yeah. And so in order for you to tell the computer what to do, you need to use that language. You need to learn its language. Now, weirdly, many of these programming languages that we use, I think Python's one of these, is actually a second order one. And what the computer does is it processes Python into a simpler language that it actually understands. Yeah. And what's fascinating is it seems like we've just gone to a third order now, where we finally got to the point where these AI, we can now just talk to it. And the computer now understands what we're saying. Yeah. The AI gets what we're trying to talk about. And so weirdly, like it's finally graduated to the level where we're on the same page. And all of a sudden now, our language, our capacity, our human communication it's weirdly just switching back to being the most powerful skill. Because again, it brings me back to that learn to code idea. Because I remember they were giving a lot of people on the Twitter were giving out the journalists, because they're saying that like writing is old, is dead. People don't use language, and that language is the old form of language. And now we're in the new language, which is code. Code is the new writing, and it's like, oh crap, now writing's back again. Another thing that pops up. Go on, sorry.
So finally, people who got an English degree major are going to have use of their degree. Like, all of us, finally, all the literature, all the books they read and all the papers they wrote, finally, it'll be useful.
I'm saved.